It's the final countdown.
I fucking knew it.
You started.
You started that, man.
I want to do it first before he did it.
I took it from you. And what does that mean? Why are we singing the final countdown? Well, it's because we're here to talk about the finals. The game coming from Embark Studios. It is a world famous free-to-play combat-centered game show.
And Brett, why are we talking about this?
Because I got access to the closed beta.
Oh,
Number 2. So the first closed beta came out and people were digging in. There's a lot of videos that came out about it. The problem with the first one is that it was very unoptimized and buggy. So beta number 2 is out and I've now played 2 or 3 hours of the game, I would say. And I'm glad to say it's actually running pretty damn good. I was maxed out graphics, ray tracing, high graphics, the whole 9 yards.
Wow.
Everything turned all the way up and I was getting anywhere between 50 and 60 frames per second.
Wow.
So that was pretty good. Sometimes it would drop to 40 when there's a lot of physics effects going on, but it was running great. 1440p, the whole 9 yards, running solid.
Yeah.
So in this game, you fight alongside your teammates in virtual arenas that you can alter, exploit, and even destroy. You build your own playstyle in this first-person shooter to win escalating tournaments and lasting fame. So when I say game show, this game is 100% set up like a game show.
It's like in an arena.
You have an arena, you start up, they have screens that pop up that says introducing the bitter sister. I don't remember the names.
The bitter Brett.
There's different names. No, there's names of teams. So they have team names tied to each team and they introduce them on a big screen. And there's an announcer that's constantly announcing and talking about the teams of what they've done and what they haven't done throughout the course of the game. And when you drop it in the arena, it's an actual arena and there's an audience around the arena that is watching you. So in this game, you start out, you pick one of 3 different types of classes, and the classes are based off of body builds. So you have your light build, your medium build, and your heavy build. Your heavy build is going to be your guy that has the highest armor, but he's also the slowest moving character. Your medium one is a little bit of both. He can jump a lot. He can do whatever. Your light build's really fast and agile kind of build. So that's how you start your character setup, is you have that. And then you have a special ability. So everybody starts with a healing gun that you can use to heal your friends. So if they start taking damage, you can pull out the healing gun and start healing them. Then you have a main weapon, you have a secondary weapon, and you have 3 attachments. So your 3 attachments or your 3 abilities are you start out with a frag grenade. You can have a jump pad, so you can throw a jump pad on the ground and jump on it, and it leaps you up in the air so you can get to higher places. There's a goo grenade, which you throw it out and it creates a goo barrier. So you can block windows and use it to block areas of the map.
That's cool.
There's a zip line you can get later on. There's all kinds of upgrades you can get, but you start out with a defibrillator is one where you can revive your people really quick, all that stuff. So the premise of the game is you are on a team of 3 they have 3 different game modes right now. They have quick cash, which is 1 round mode where it's 3 on 3 on 3. So there's 3 teams of 3 that drop in, and their objective is you have to find the vaults first. And the vaults are basically a cash box. And you go to the cash box, you start the timer. It takes a few seconds to collect the cash. And then you have a box that you pick up, and then you and your team run that box to one of the 2 or 3 cash out points on the map. So there could be 2, there could be 3, depending on where it is. And the cash out points are this ATM machine essentially that you run the cash box to. It deposits the cash box into the box, and you have to sit there and protect it until the timer runs out and you collect $10,000. And then at the end of the game, in this round, for example, $20,000 wins. So you have to get 2 cash boxes secured in order to win the game for your team. So when you're defending the cash box, it's a 2, maybe 3 minute timer. So at that point, everybody knows that cash box is being claimed. So other teams are coming to you to try and claim that box. If they can get there and they hold down a button, kind of like when you're playing Rush in Battlefield, if you hold down that button, you can claim that box and the timer doesn't reset. So you could literally, there's people that will come in there and wait until the last minute to come and destroy your team, steal that box and get it, and you just sat there, waited and defended it for an hour or 3 minutes or whatever, and they come in and steal it from you last minute, which is insane. But it's so interesting.
Do you have to be
does someone have to be near it, or you just
You could run around if you want to, but if you don't want to because you have to defend it from people
But
taking
you
away.
don't have
But yeah,
to-
you
there's
don't
not
have
like
to be
an
within
area.
the vicinity.
Okay,
No.
yeah,
You
cool.
can just, as long as you have control of it, that box is going to start collecting for you until it's done. The other thing is the box you put it on is a physical box that you're defending. So this game is made by Embark Studios, which is former devs from Battlefield. So one thing that's really big in this game is destructible environments. And when I say destructible
They are
environments,
destructible.
this whole effing map can be destroyed to pieces.
I saw a guy run through a wall. Like
Yes.
3 of them.
Yeah. So say for example, the box is up on a 3rd floor building. You can set it. You can like throw a grenade on there and blow up the floor and drop the box down to the lower floor. Or somebody was able to put the box onto the elevator, and they would just sit in the elevator, and it goes up and down. So you have to wait for the elevator to open and try and get in there to shut the box down.
Jeez.
Me and my team in this one game, there was these moving platforms that come around because every game. What's interesting about this, just tell you what, I freaking love this game.
Okay.
So if you haven't learned yet, like I freaking love this game. It's so good. There is like it's kind of like a roguelike game where there's different things that will happen in each map that changes the map. So by default, the map is just a map design, but there's different variations that can happen. So like some of it, the game map will be under construction in a game type. So you jump in there and half the map is under construction. So there's like different obstacles and stuff to jump onto. Sometimes there's heavy fog, so you don't have much distance to see, which makes it harder for snipers to play. Sometimes there is there might be, I don't know, something else, like the moving platforms or whatever. And the moving platforms could have the cache box. So you have to get on a moving platform in order to like protect the box, which is interesting for like having it move around the map while you're trying to, stop people from getting into it and stuff. So all that stuff is really interesting to change the game mode. And then there's even like game modifiers like meteor strikes that will just turn on and be like active meteor strikes incoming. So as you're running around, you might have a meteor strike that drops down, blows you up.
Holy shit.
Or low gravity, which makes you jump up higher. So if you use a jump pad, you just like fly through the freaking air. And there's all these different modifiers that every round will tell you at the beginning of the game what modifiers will be there and what game mode. Is it day, night? Is it foggy? Is it going to be under construction? Whatever.
Wow.
So you know kind of what to load out your character with as you enter into it. But it requires you to be on your toes and like change your character loadout with each game mode or with each game.
Very fast paced.
Yeah.
It's incredibly fast paced, way more than I thought it was going to be. Like this is like Battlefield meets Call of Duty. It's like if they had a baby and then they added in like Overwatch shit to like maybe even add in like some Valorant. Like it's a whole mix of a bunch of different stuff.
Interesting. How long's a match?
I think it's like 8 to 10 minutes.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, so it's not super long. And that's the quick cache mode. So then there's another mode called the tournament, which is kind of what the bread and butter is of the game. And the tournament is essentially the same setup. It's still the cache box and the cache out, the vaults and the cache out system. But instead of teams of 3, it's teams of 4. So it's 3 teams of 4 fighting against each other. And at that time you're playing the tournament, there's 2 games happening with 4 teams of 3 playing each other. And whoever wins will advance to the next rank. And the next rank to the point they reach the top of the ladder and they fight each other. And in that one, it adds a whole nother variety because there's another thing that happens when you're playing quick cache. There's a unlimited respawn tokens. So if you die, you just wait 15 seconds, which is a long respawn timer, and you can respawn your character. When you have a team wipe, it's a 20-second respawn timer, which allows other people to kind of take control of the battlefield.
Yeah.
But when you're playing the tournament, you have 2 respawn tokens, meaning if your character dies, like you literally can only respawn 2 times and then your team's done and you're knocked out of the game. So, but what makes it different in here, which I also think is a really cool feature, is when you die, you turn in a little action figure on the ground. And this action figure, as another player, I can come up and pick up Austin's action figure and run him inside the building and then revive him there. So you don't revive. You can like pick him up and like he's an object. You can
I
move
haven't
around.
seen anybody do that in this gameplay.
I saw it once or twice.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
it doesn't like hinder your running speed or anything
Nope,
like that.
nope.
It's
just like picking up the box, but it's just a way for you to be like, okay, Austin died in the middle of the field. I don't want to
Have him in my
revive him
pocket.
there. Well, I mean, it does
smells
make
in
it
here.
does make it where you can't shoot, But you just pick him up and you bring him inside the building, and then you can revive him there in a safe location. So that's really interesting in the game aspect of it. But it's just like the graphics are great. The destructible environments, like you can blow shit up left and right. There's
So I saw. I mean, I don't mean to
go
stop
for it.
you because you said exploding environments. I saw that you can like use telekinesis to pick up an exploding like tank and throw it.
So it's not
Does
really- yeah,
everyone have that ability.
Yes, it's
Okay.
not really telekinesis. It's like you're really picking it up, but it's like your hand's not really grabbing it. I guess it's kind of like a
yeah, 'cause-
levitating thing
yeah,
or whatever.
levitating
Is it like a technology
Yeah,
thing or a
there's-
telekinesis thing?
Like you see,
Yeah.
he grabs it like that.
I guess it is a telekinesis ability. Yeah,
Yeah.
So
He threw it at the ceiling. It made someone drop down.
Yeah, explode the ceiling.
And the guy dropped and he killed him. That was impressive. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. There's like different there's little things running around in the environment that like light up when you walk past them.
Mm-hmm.
It can be a flammable container, it can be a goo container, or it can be a gas container. So yeah, you can pick those containers up anytime and just carry it around with you. And if you see somebody, the flammable container, you can throw it like a rocket.
Yeah.
And it just like goes until it explodes on somebody. So you can use it to like blow up the floors or whatever. You use the goo box to like, if you're in a room, like one thing I did, I was, me and this team were playing a game, and there was a cash box inside this room that had one door, and then it had 4 windows, but it was on the 3rd floor. So the only way to get to it was to like drop down and kind of like kick your way into the window, but there was no like balconies to let you in. So you had to kind of maneuver yourself through the windows, and then you had the doorway. So what I did was I threw goo grenades into the door so they couldn't get through the
Couldn't get
door.
through the door.
And then I just like blocked out the windows. And then so I sat there and just defended that thing for like 2 minutes because there was no way they could get in the building. And nobody like blew open the roof or anything like that. But they theoretically could just like drop a grenade on the rooftop and just blow open a hole.
Shoot up underneath you.
Yeah.
Or shoot up underneath you. So
Is
there's-
it so? Speaking about like the shooting part, can you shoot through walls, or is it just like making them explode?
Making them explode. I don't
Okay.
think there's like any penetration of walls or anything like that. Obviously, there's stuff you can catch on fire, which happens a lot.
Yeah.
People throw like fire grenades and you just like the whole entire place catches on fire. But no, there's no wall penetration. One thing that's missing from this, I'm surprised they don't have, is a slide. So when you like crouch and run,
thought
like
I
I
saw
want to be able
someone
to
do that.
slide
yeah.
down the whatever, unless it's an unlockable ability later on. But when you press control to like try and slide, it just crouches. So I'm sure they're gonna add that because that's a pretty like needed feature. But there's zip line, there's like rappel lines everywhere, so you can like just quickly rappel up on top of the building and get up on top, and then like drop down from below. And every building has like glass on the rooftop where you can like drop in to like get in from the top or from the bottom. There's just a lot of different abilities and stuff going on here, but it's awesome, man. I'm like really, really loving it. I love the unlockable stuff. The skins are going to be like Fortnite skins because it's such a zany concept. They don't have to be grounded in realism like you do in Battlefield.
Yeah.
So it's like there's a skin you can get a freaking teddy bear head on. You can get like there's a skin where you can like be a female dress up in a tutu and run around. It's just like they have it set up to be a great free to play game, and then they can do what Fortnite does and like have a bunch of like just crazy costumes and outfits that fits the world because it's a game show.
How many maps do they have, or have
I think
you played?
2 or 3.
2 or 3.
There's
what I was
Monaco, there's Seoul, and then there's one of those. There's 3. There's 2 of them are very have a lot of levels to them. With like big ass skyscraper buildings, you have to jump across gaps of stuff to get to things. And then there's this map right here that we're watching is the more grounded map where it's just like standard buildings that are like 3 stories tall, and it's not as much verticality, but it's still a lot. It also feels a lot like in those bigger maps, like Mirror's Edge. It's like Mirror's Edge.
I see a lot of Mirror's Edge in this.
They just don't have as much of the parkour effects, but the visual style has some Mirror's Edge stuff going on.
Looks impressive.
Yeah. But I'm hyped on it. I'm like, I feel
So-
confident that it can find an audience. I'm just concerned that my only concern is that this game mode, I think for some people may I don't know, it might get stale. I don't know.
Is it going to be on all platforms, or?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are we gonna be playing this for a while or what? Play it for a few months and be like, maybe here and there.
More than likely. But I mean, so far it looks it's impressive.
It depends on their support. Because, I mean, I could also see this kind of be a new type of... It's not going to be like a battle royale, I don't think, to that level of revolution, where it's like that created its own genre. But I do see it being something that, like, I could see them add a TDM to this, and just the destructible environments is enough to change the game to where a team deathmatch would be fun to play in this world. Right now it's just the cash mode thing, but I mean, they could definitely do some variations of that cash box thing to just make the environments are such a fun playground that there's a lot you can do with the maps that I think is unique to this. I haven't seen much of this in a game before. You know, like Hyperscape kind of added some of that verticality for a little bit, but like this one, it's like your whole environment is very destructible and has a lot of maneuverability, which I think makes for a really fun, dynamic game each time you play.
You said you had 3 modes, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But they're all variations of this. So there's quick
yeah.
cash, and then the tournament mode, which is just ranked, or tournament of quick cash, and then there's ranked tournament, which is just your standard rank system.
I feel like they're probably add in a team deathmatch at some point, just not like right in the beginning.
Yeah. Well, they could even add like a rush style thing to this, with the bomb planning thing where you have multiple, but instead of, I like the idea of having more than 2 teams, which I think can make for some unique gameplay where it's like, instead of having 2 teams fighting each other, it's now 3 or 4 teams that are trying to plant bombs and take control and, push and pull. So you
could add King of the Hill on this. You could add Oddball to this.
100%. Yeah.
You could do, what else did they have in?
Like Halo.
Yeah, but what was the other one we played?
Which one?
The Halo-like one?
Oh, Splitgate?
Splitgate.
Oh, yeah.
They could have some of those in here, too.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think there's a lot of potential, definitely, because the mechanics are sound. The gunplay is great. Like, it's really, really good. It feels really good when you're shooting people, and you can very well tell if you shoot at their leg or whatever, it's a noticeable difference in damage than if you shoot their head or if you shoot their chest or whatever. So there's very clear like hitbox moments where like damage is dealt differently based on where you shoot the enemy, which I think is also really, really nice. So they've definitely thought out. The shooting mechanics are solid. The physics are incredible. The game looks great. It's just a matter of, will people feel like this is going to be different enough game after game to keep coming back after several months? Or is it going to get kind of stale?
Warning the dead go boom incoming?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Well, they could do kind of like a battle royale in a way, but like keep like the deathmatch aspect. But every so often, like a section of the city gets like exploded, kind of like in not Cityscape. What was the Ubisoft battle royale they tried to do? Yeah, Hyperscape, where like sections would just disappear after some point, but they can just like do it where it like bombs it out.
If you can take out a whole building,
places get smaller and
you
smaller.
Can
pretty much, yeah.
Hell,
I've seen like whole entire buildings. Like, there's this one big building in one of the maps that has this like glass ceiling that is like slanted or whatever, and you can like just drop that whole entire half of the building in half. It's awesome. And blow it up. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how it stands up over time.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I could see it getting stale, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Such a negative Nancy.
I'm just trying to be realistic. I'm sorry, it's negative.
I get you.
My girlfriend told me that recently.
Well, she sees it too.
Oh man,
but I'm negative Ned, not negative Nancy.
Negative
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. But yeah, I'm loving it. This beta right now is open for a week, so I'm definitely gonna be playing it more. Very excited about it. There is going to be obviously a battle pass. The battle pass stuff is like meh, and that could also be a make or break because they really need to kind of work on, kind of like whenever what was the Ubisoft roller rink game that we played?
Oh, fucking roller derby thing.
Roller derby, yeah.
I can't remember
whatever it was called.
I know what you're talking about.
That one had a super shitty battle pass, So it's like you really got to get that battle pass down
Derby
too.
Stars?
Roller Champions.
Roller Champions.
That's it.
You got to get that battle pass down, because like this is one of the first games in a while that I've been like, I want a battle pass for this. Like, I want my character to look super, super cool. And you can do that. And I'm like, I just hope they can figure that out because the game it's fun. It's really fun.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
All
but
right.
finals, Embark Studios, they're bringing some action here.